I am 83 years old, and I want you to understand what that means before I say anything else. It means I have watched more people leave this world than enter my life. It means I wake up some mornings and lie still for a moment, not because I am rested, but because I am checking that I am still here, that the darkness hasn't come yet. It hasn't, not yet, but I can feel it waiting. The way you feel a cold room before you open the door. There is a chill on the other side of every morning now, and I have stopped pretending otherwise. So I am not here to inspire you. I am here because I have nothing left to protect. No image, no career, no version of myself I'm still trying to sell to the world. I am just an old man in a chair by a window, and outside that window the world is still spinning, loudly, hungrily. It doesn't know my name anymore. That is fine. But before I go, before that door opens and I walk through it, I need to say something to you. Something that took me 8 decades to understand. You are going to say yes today. Maybe you already have. Yes to the meeting that wasn't yours to attend. Yes to the favor that cost you a Saturday afternoon. Yes to the phone call that pulled you away from dinner. Yes to the committee, the project, the obligation, the request that arrived wrapped in flattery and left you empty. And you said yes because you are a good person. That is the cruelest part of all this. The people who say yes the most, the ones who wear themselves down to almost nothing, they are almost always the good ones. I know, because I was one of them. You know what I thought saying yes meant? I thought it meant I was needed. I thought it meant I mattered. Every yes felt like proof. Proof that I was generous. Proof that I was capable. Proof that people wanted me around. But knowing something and feeling something, those are two entirely different countries. I knew in my mind that I was exhausted. I knew I was giving too much away. But I felt in my chest, in the place where your real self lives, I felt that if I ever said no, people would stop loving me. So I kept saying yes, and slowly, without ever meaning to, I gave my life away one small agreement at a time. In 1974, I worked with a man named Gerald Marsh. He was 41 years old. Compact, serious, the kind of man who ironed his shirts on Sunday nights and planned his weeks in a small leather notebook. We worked in the same firm, insurance, nothing glamorous, and Gerald was the person everyone called when they needed something done. He was the one who stayed late, the one who covered shifts, the one who said yes, so automatically that people stopped bothering to say thank you. He had a plan, Gerald did. He told me once, in the break room, over bad coffee, that he was going to retire at 60, buy a small house near the coast. His wife, Margaret, had always wanted to hear the ocean from the bedroom window. He had a photograph of the coastline pinned inside his notebook. I saw it once. He was embarrassed when I noticed. He said, 2 more years of this and we're done. Margaret and I are going to rest. I believed him. But Gerald kept saying yes. One more project. One more crisis at the office. One more time. In 1977, Margaret died. Quietly. Quickly. The way unfair things happen, without warning, without enough time to say what needed saying. Gerald retired 4 years later. He did buy a house near the coast, but he sat in it alone, and the sound of the ocean, the very thing she had always wanted. He told me once that he couldn't open the bedroom window anymore, because the sound of it made everything worse. He died in 1991, and the last time I saw him, he didn't talk about the firm. He didn't talk about the accounts he'd managed, or the crises he'd solved, or the people he'd helped. He just said, I gave the best of myself to people who have already forgotten my name. I have never forgotten that sentence. Not once, in 40 years. Here is what I want you to sit with. The world did not stop when Gerald left it. The firm kept going. New people filled his desk. His files were archived and eventually thrown away. The clients he had served with such devotion found new representatives within the week. And no one, not one single person, stood up in a meeting and said we should slow down. Gerald gave us everything. That is not cruelty. That is simply how it works. You are not the axis the world turns on. Neither was Gerald. Neither was I. The terrible freedom in that sentence, once you truly feel it, not just know it, is that it releases you. It means your yes is not holding the world together. It means your no will not cause collapse. It means you had a choice all along, and we spent our whole lives not believing that. I had a watch once, Swiss, beautiful thing, given to me when I made senior partner. I wore it for 30 years, polished it every Sunday. It meant something to me, not the watch itself, but what it represented. Arrival, success, the proof that all those yeses had been worth something. When I died, and I say when, not if, because I am 83 and I have made my peace. When I die, someone will open a drawer and find that watch, and they will think, nice watch, and then they will think, what do we do with it? And most of what you have spent your life accumulating, the things you said yes to extra work to afford, the things you sacrificed weekends to own, most of it will end up in a box, or a sale, or a drawer someone eventually clears out without knowing the story behind anything inside it. The watch will not remember that you polished it. The house will not remember who loved it. The car will not know your name. Objects do not grieve. Only people do. And the people, the ones who will truly grieve you, they were never impressed by the things. They were only ever grateful for the moments when you showed up, when you were present, when you chose them. I was good at my job. I want to say that plainly, without false modesty. I was genuinely good at it. I could read a room. I could solve problems. I could hold difficult things together under pressure. And for decades, I told myself that this was my contribution to the world, that my competence was my love language, that working hard, saying yes to every opportunity, every demand, every climb, was how I showed the people around me that I cared. But I missed my daughter's school play in 1981 because of a meeting that I cannot now remember the subject of. I missed it. She was 9. She had practiced for 6 weeks. She had a small solo, 3 lines, and she had asked me twice, just twice. She was not the kind of child who pushed. She had asked twice if I would be there. I said yes, and then I said yes to something else, something that felt urgent, something that I promise you, the universe has long since forgotten. She forgave me. She is a kind woman, my daughter. She forgave me, and she grew up and she has her own life now. But I have never forgiven myself, because in that moment I chose a version of myself that I thought the world needed, and I abandoned the version of myself that she needed. No promotion ever filled that gap. No watch, no title, no recognition at an annual dinner. Nothing. What I know now, what I feel now, in the way that only time can teach you, is that life is not built from the large moments. It is built from the small ones. The Tuesday night you stayed at the table after dinner, just talking, not going anywhere, not checking anything, just there. The phone call you made that you didn't have to make, just because you thought of someone and wanted them to know. The time you said, not tonight, I have a prior commitment, and the prior commitment was your own peace, your own rest, your own presence in the life that belonged to you. Those are the moments that hold. Those are the moments that people carry with them, long after you are gone. Not your title, not your output, not how reliably you said yes. Just the time you were there, the time you chose them, the time you chose yourself. So let me leave you with this. Not rules, not a list, just the things I would tell Gerald if I could. The things I wish someone had told me at 40. The first is this: your availability is not the same as your love. Saying yes to everyone is not generosity. It is often fear wearing the costume of generosity. Real love requires presence, not performance. You can be always available and never truly there. The people who love you would rather have 1 real hour than 10 distracted ones. The second is this: no is a complete sentence. You do not need to explain it. You do not need to soften it into something palatable. No is not cruel. No is not selfish. No is sometimes the only honest thing you can say. And the people who respect you, truly respect you, will not crumble when you say it. The third is this: the life you keep postponing is the only one you have. There is no other version waiting for you on the other side of this obligation, this season, this one last commitment. There is only now, and then later, and then if you are not careful, too late. And the fourth, the one that cost me something to say, even now. The people who took the most from you probably never noticed how much you gave. And the people who needed the most from you, the quiet ones, the ones who didn't ask, the ones who just waited, they noticed everything. I am running out of mornings. I say that simply without self-pity. It is just the truth of where I am standing. And from here, from this chair, by this window, in the long quiet of a life almost fully lived, I can see so clearly what I could not see at 40 or 50 or even 60. Every yes you give away carelessly is a no to something that matters. Every hour you spend performing your reliability for people who will forget you by Tuesday is an hour you did not spend with the ones who would have remembered forever. I am not angry about this. I am just tired of watching people learn it too late. The way Gerald did, the way I did. You still have time. Not infinite time. Not the endless rolling horizon you think you have at 30. But time. Enough to turn around. Enough to say no to one thing today that doesn't deserve your yes. Enough to sit at the table a little longer tonight. Enough to call the person you've been meaning to call for 6 months. Enough. Use it like you believe it will run out. Because it will. It always does.